Hi, and welcome to Working It with Dr. Wendy, bringing you all things social work, sharing knowledge, resources, ideas, activities, you name it, all towards living your next best step and accomplishing your life goals. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the practice of social work. If you haven't seen my first video talking about what social work is, I invite you to take a look and go back and watch that. It helps to set this up a little bit. But anyway, what are the levels of social work? How many years do I have to go to school to be a social worker? Do I need a degree to do social work? I'm going to say yes, yes, and yes. Really, to be a social worker, as I mentioned, it is a professional degree. There's a Bachelor of Social Work degree, which is your undergrad. There's an MSW, a Master of Social Work degree. You can even get a PhD in social work or a DSW, Doctor of Social Work. So there are just a host of different degrees and preparedness to practice as a social worker. As a social worker, there are just so many different roles that we fulfill. Social worker, to the practice of social work or being a social worker encompasses so much. At the beginning level, what we call the generalist or foundation level of social work practice, many folks will work as an educator, as an advocate, as a mediator, as a broker, as a case manager, as a facilitator, as a resource coordinator. Those are all roles of social work. Even though one's title might be social worker, within that role, you can do so much. And more often than not, as social workers, we're fulfilling more than one role. You aren't hired just to be a case manager. As a case manager, I'm sure you're also facilitating some kind of a meeting, a group. I'm sure you're educating someone about what we do or another resource. We're doing advocacy in terms of getting services or coordinating connections. We do all of that every day, day in and out. That's what we do. We also do that in a host of different settings. So as a social worker, especially at the foundation or generous level, those terms are synonymous, we work with individuals, families, groups, communities, and organizations. Yet that beginning skill level or that beginning training, you're prepared to do that as a generalist level social worker. And you can do that with a bachelor's degree or essentially the first year of an MSW or Master of Social Work program. And with that level of training, you work as a micro, which is individual and families, or meso, communities and groups, or macro, larger organizations, maybe in a more political or bureaucratic system. You have that level of training by the end of a bachelor's degree, which is so awesome. I'll be sharing more with you about, well, what does it mean to have a BSW, and what if I want to go on, and how long will that take me? Well, you can do advanced standing, but I'll share that another time. Anyway, so with being a generalist level, having that beginning level of education and training, you can now work in a host of different settings. So that can look like a school, that can look like a forensic setting, be it for adult or a juvenile setting. You can work in community mental health. You can work in a hospital setting, assisted living, and again, elder services, education, just a host of different places that you will find social workers. I mean, again, I'll tell you a little bit about me and how I got started. So, you'll hear this, you'll get to learn me, and I'm looking forward to getting to know about all of you, all my viewers, is that I was a teen parent. I will share my story of going from a GED to a PhD, and I'm proud of both of those degrees. But with that, I was at a point in my life where I didn't know what I was going to do next. And through having an encounter with a social worker who encouraged me to kind of think about, well, what do you want to do next? That's when I decided to take some beginning coursework at a community college, and then from there learned about a social work program, an undergraduate social work program, and that really changed what I see as my career and educational trajectory. It just took me to another level, y'all, and a level that I'm so excited about, where I started very beginning outpatient community mental health to now being in higher education, doing consulting, even doing private practice, and I love every minute of it. So in terms of what's next, this is going to be the place where bring your questions, bring those questions, all things social work, and I'll share what I've developed and learned over the last 30 years. And I'm not saying I know it all, so if you ask a question I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, or I'll work to find the answer and we can learn and grow together. Again, this is a space for us to learn and grow and develop for our best next life step and our overall well-being. So until the next time we come together, y'all know those three things. Let's like, share, subscribe, and then I'm also going to encourage you to do this really important thing. I want you to do you and do you well. Do it with encouragement, love, and laughter. Until next time, take care. Bye.